Okay, hi gang, this is W1REX, Rex again, and we have the final quick video on showing you the finishing touches and how to use the Pocket Pal 2 Plus. So here we have here's the Pocket Pal, battery, we got everything all connected up. I made the little set of test leads using a I put the wires through, soldered them up, and I've got a 2-pin header down here which is going to plug into our little socket. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue in here. I'm going to do this first so it'll cool down when I go to use it, just to get a little nice strain relief on it. I don't want to get too much, but come on. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so I'll put that aside and let it cool down. The next thing is I've got some cardstock, so you can take the board, put it on the cardstock, trace it out, and cut that tracing out with scissors, and you end up with a this is a couple of little layers of cardstock. And so when you put that in underneath there, because remember, there's all the connections to the board, and if we just drop that into a tin, which is a nice metal base, you're going to short everything out. So we drop the cardstock in there, and you can put the board in, and I will put the battery in, and there you go, everything's installed. So put the top on, and I'll take the label, and there we go. I got a little crease in there, but that's okay. Sorry about that. I'm trying to do this quickly. I don't want this to be a 1-hour tape here, 1-hour film. So now we got everything all in the box, and we've got our little jumper. Let's see, I'll test the whole thing, see if it makes it. Yeah, it's cool to the touch now. So we got a red and black, or two colors. You know, one's positive, one's negative. Positive is on the inside. Negative is over on the other side. So when you put the on, I'll push the button on. It has an announcement message. I think it says 72 PAL. Okay, but I'm just gonna go. I'm a sucker. This is why I designed this thing in the first place. I'm a sucker. I'm gonna go to 25. Over here, I'm looking at the legend here, and I had 25 microamps. And I am just a sucker for things, analog meters. And if you go to a Hamfest and you see an analog meter, how in the heck do you know if it's any good? So I can put this on positive and negative. And I can see down in the corner underneath here, it says full scale 50 microamps. So I've got this set for 25 microamps. If I put on the button, I can see, gee, it scale reads 25 microamps, half scale. So that meter's good. I can offer somebody 25 cents for that. Here's another one. This is a cute one. I kind of like this guy right here. I mean, it says right on it, full scale 50 microamps. So I can go find the positive and negative on the back and plug this in. Hit the on button. Remember, I'm plugged into 25 microamps. Look at that, right on the money. So, hey, that's a 50-cent meter if I ever saw one. So there's another meter down. Here's one right here, plus or minus. It says, doesn't say anything, but I would assume that possibly that's 50 microamps. I don't see any. So I'll start small. So I'll go find the positive and negative on here. And I've got it set for 25 microamps. And push the button. So there's 25 way over there. So that 10 looks pretty good. So that's a plus or minus 10. And I can turn this around to go the opposite direction. And sure enough, it goes the other way. So I know that meter's good, and I know it's roughly 10 microamps. Just what it says on the thing. So if I was going to do like a field strength meter and I wanted a really, really sensitive meter, that 10 microamps is a pretty nice meter. So here's one here. Nice lab grade, kind of a bench toppy kind of thing, and you can see it has all kinds of different readings. So I'll put in 100 milliamps. And I'll go on my Pocket Pal, and I'll find the one I got the most is, I got 25 milliamps. That's the highest I go, and I got 100 milliamp scale, so I'm going to go put it on 25 milliamps. 1, 2, fourth one up. So there it is. Push the button. I'm on a 100 milliamp scale, so that's roughly 25. I can go down to 10 milliamps. That's going to really whack it, so I'll go down one, which is 2.5 milliamps, and turn it on. And there's 2.5. Amazing. So I know this guy works pretty good. I'll check it down to 1 milliamp, and I'll go down to 250 microamps. So I should read a quarter scale. Sure enough, they all read the same. So this meter's good. That's probably worth a whole buck. Here's one here. Again, another little bench top thing, and I can see it says here nothing. But I assume this top says volts DC, and I can see 1.5, 3, and 30. Sounds like a good battery monitor. So I'll go move this up to 2.5 volts. And I'll put that on, let's see, I'll put that on the 3 volt scale. And ground. So we'll turn this baby on. Whoops, did I get that in the right one? Yeah, 2.5. Whoops, no, I didn't get that right. That's millivolts. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, I got nothing there. Let's go over to the 1.5. Oh, that's because I'm doing this wrong. Let's go over to the 3 volts, and plus is over here on way on the end. So see that I had an operator error here. So let's try that again. Let's go down to 2.5 volts, which I think is that one. Oh, it just barely moves. Let's go down to let's go over to the 30 volt scale and see what happens. Nothing. Let's go to the 1.5 scale. Just barely moves. I would say this meter probably isn't any good. So I wouldn't offer a plug nickel for that guy. So had to show you one that doesn't work. So that's you can use these to check out meters, which is one of my favorite things. I have hundreds of meters. I haven't built anything in a long time that uses meters, but I love them. So here's a couple other things we can test. Piezo. You see a piezo? Okay, is this thing going to be loud enough? Is it going to work? Whatever. So I can go up and plug it into the piezo and make sure I got my polarity right. And we got a plus and a minus. Now, a piezo, it first has to go through its whole, when you turn it on, let me get my finger good. Introductory thing. Does all that. I'm going to shorten that because I don't want to wait all that long when I test stuff. So I'm going to change the program to make it smaller. Okay, now it has an internal piezo, so it oscillates between internal and external. And I can hear both piezos running, so that piezo works. It's relatively okay, so that's worth something. We'll take this out. LEDs. Obviously that's a green LED, but what is the status on it? So we'll put this all the way down at 25 microamps, push the button, and you can see that light up at 25 microamps? So that most likely is a super bright. So I'll go up to 25 milliamps, and sure enough, man, that thing is bright and all get out. So that's a super bright green. If you take this green right here and plug it into 25 microamps, you see that? Hardly lights at all. You can just a little bit. So if I go up to 2.5, okay, that's medium, all right. So up to 25. Okay, it's green, it lights, but that's a regular LED. That's not a super bright or anything. There's nothing to write home about. Here's a clear one. Don't know what that is, so I'll do the same thing. I always start out, and you can see that one doesn't light up at 25. So I'll go all the way up to 25 milliamps. And I can see, oh, that's a green one. And that's just a regular green, but a clear lens. Here's another clear one. Let's go up. Again, nothing there. I'll go up to 25 milliamps. So that is a blue, but it's a regular LED blue. It's not anything to write home about. So here's another blue one. I'm going to go right up to 25 milliamps. And nothing. Nothing. This one's dead. Okay. Here's a red one. Is this a regular or super bright? Just barely lights up on 25 milliamps, 25 microamps. So we'll go 2.5. That's pretty bright. At 25, that's very bright. So this is a super bright, but it's not an ultra bright. Probably that's about 6 or 8, maybe 10 tops. Now there's a white one, and that's pretty bright. Let's go all the way down to, so you can see that lights up okay on 25 microamps. So that's a bright white, but still it's only in like 8,000 maybe. Mini candela. Here's a 3 lead. So I'm going to hit it with regular. That's yellow. I turn it around, plug it in. So that's a yellow green. Here's one here, most likely white. Because it's got really big fat leads, I'm going to plug it in down here with, we'll go right to the 25 milliamps right there. Because, I mean, they don't make these big suckers in regular. They're all pretty bright. So you can see that's a really bright white. Okay, works okay. So there's how you can test LEDs with it. We tested a piezo. Oh, here's another one down here. I'm going to go and I'll put it on 25 milliamps. And let's see, surface mount. So I can go to either side. Whoops. Let's see if I move it over here a little bit. So I can hold it down. That didn't work, so I'll turn it around. Whoops, oh, shoot. Let's try turning it around. I think I turned it more than I needed to. There it is. Oops. You can't see it. Darn. Well, maybe you could see it. I think it was down at the bottom of the screen. I gotta get it back up the center stage here. Come on. A little bit awkward, I should make a little test figure for these things. Nothing. Turn it around. There we go. Of course, my hands are hiding it. Oh shoot. Anyway, it's a green. It lit up green, and I would say it's a regular green. Okay, turn it around one more time. Okay, kind of hard holding down the button, and well, anyway, I give up on that one. But it did light up green, but I don't think you got a chance to see it. So here's another thing. I can go up to crystal. Okay, I got it plugged into crystal up here. And then I can take and put a crystal on. Let's see what this one is. This is, let's go something a little bit easier. Here's a 5598 FT243. Turn that on. Okay, so I'm getting the regular startup message, which means, oh, it wasn't plugged in very well. It popped up. Okay, let's try that again. $5495. Okay, and that says 5598. Now, the frequency counter in here is not super accurate, but it gets you in the ballpark. So the idea is the fact that it says 5598 on it, and it came up 5495, I think it was. So that crystal is active and it works. Here's one. Here's a 1030. We'll try that one. Okay, so that's my regular startup message. So that says that it tried to, what it does is it activates the crystal, goes in the circuit, it starts the oscillator, and it goes in the frequency counter. If it doesn't count anything, then it goes to the regular startup message. If it actually sees a count there, it bypasses the startup and goes right to telling what the frequency is. So this one is not, it's not registering. Now it's because it could possibly be a little bit on the low side that the oscillator wouldn't fire up, or the crystal is actually dead. Here's a 14 megahertz. Now this oscillator should work just fine on this baby. So let's plug this one in and see what happens. Nope. Startup message. So I just picked this one out of a whole bunch of crystals. Anyway, for the most part it works on the regular crystals in the HF band. It's not 100% certain, but if you actually get it to read a frequency, then obviously you know the crystal is good. The other thing you can do is, if I take this out, over here on this side, I'm going to take this out just because it's a lot easier to deal with it outside the tin instead of inside. Over on here, you can see there's two crystals here. And the second switch up here will actually turn this little circuit on. And you can see there's a jumper. Let me get my pliers. Okay, there's a jumper right here. And you can jumper one of the two crystals. So I can select either one, and these are in sockets so you can actually change them. If I put the jumper up there, then this crystal is activated, and when I push this button over here, that is oscillating and it goes to the frequency out thing. So in other words, I can take this guy and plug it in, and this will now act as a small antenna. Okay, I don't have a receiver right here, but if I did this, I could actually send code out this antenna on this particular frequency, which happens to be 14.060. Yet I can also take this crystal out because it's in a socket, and I could take this other HC49 and I could plug it in. And if you have a receiver, I designed this so that you could, if you're looking at a receiver and you want to know if it actually is working, then you can plug in an appropriate crystal here, and you can actually key that frequency. With a short antenna, you should be able to pick it up on the receiver. So that's a way of using the frequency. Frequency out. Frequency in, if I plug this to a frequency counter, it would do the same thing, only it'd bypass the crystal oscillator and it'd just go into the frequency counter from the counter you want to test, and it would tell you what it sees for a frequency. So you can test the frequency out, frequency in, the crystal, a speaker, which I don't happen to have here on my bench, but if you have a small speaker, you could plug this into the speaker socket, and you'd be oscillating between the audio tones on the piezo and the audio tones on the small speaker, so you can tell if it works. The one last thing, and this is the new thing I stuck on it over here, it says key. So when you plug it into the key, then this can actually go, you can actually make other specialty cable, which has got like an 1/8 inch stereo jack on it, so that, and these two jumpers right in here, there's a header, and I've made a second cable. Where'd it go? Here it is. So I made a second cable, and I can plug that onto that little header right there, and I could plug this into a key, and then I could take and plug this into a transmitter, and I can key the transmitter using this button right here. Now, it's not, I mean, I could just key the transmitter if I had a key, but I could just make a simple little key that I can take with me. I had a little push button. I don't know where it went. I had a little push button mounted on this thing, so I could test stuff out with it. But there's, as I say, meters, LEDs, anything that requires a set current or set voltage, you can test with those. Crystals, piezos, headphones, receivers, frequency counters. That's what this guy will allow you to test. So that's about it. We got my thing in here, so I'll put this back in the box. I'll take this crystal out and put the, now I send this out, and where'd it go? Here it is. I put a 20 meter and an 80 meter crystal in the kit, so everybody will get a 20 meter and an 80 meter crystal to start. And if you put it in the sockets, then you can change it whenever you want. So there is the Pocket Pal. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye, sign off. I'll get this thing posted and get a notice out to everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye.